Make me a channel of your peace. Where there's despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only light. And where there's sadness, ever joy. O Master, grant that I may never seek so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, in giving to all men that we receive, and in dying that we're born to eternal life.
Right from the very beginning, I wanted to serve the poor purely for the love of God and to give them what the rich people get with money. I wanted to give to the poor for the love of God.
Good afternoon to you all, and a very warm welcome to our special guests, among them, of course, His Excellency, the Indian High Commissioner, Bishop Patrick Dunn, Monsignor Ray Green, former parish priest here, and a warm welcome to members of the Consular Corps and to members of Parliament who have come to join us today. And I've been asked to send greetings and best wishes from the Governor-General, who is in Wellington, I understand, at another Armistice Day prayer service, and the Prime Minister and Leader of the Opposition, who of course are very busy at the moment preparing for another big event that's going to happen in 2 weeks' time. So without further ado, I'd like to invite our parish priest from here, Father Peter Tipene, to welcome you officially. Thank you.
Whakarongo, 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 whakarongo. Ake au ki te manu te mātui e tangi nei, tui, tui, tuia. Tui runga, tui raro, tui roto, tui waho. Ka tangi hoki au ti hei wā Māori ora. E ngā mana, e ngā reo, e ngā hau e whā, ko tae mai nei ki tēnei te wā, ki te whakamaharatanga, ki te whaia tapu o tere heo Calcutta, me mihi nui ki au kouta katoa, nau mai, haere mai ki tēnei whare krakia o karaiti te ariki nui, no reira, tēnā koutou katoa. Me mihi nui ki te hepara tapu o Tāmaki Makaurau, Pihopa Patriki Dan, mihi ki a koe pā, tēnā koe. Ko tō whakaritenga o Inia, Your Excellency, Suresh Mehta, me mihi nui kia koe, me tō whānau whanui, tēnā koutou, nau mai, haere mai. E rau rangatira mā, ngā perehi, ngā prata, ngā whaia tapu, te iwi katoa, tēnā koutou, nau mai, haere mai. Most Reverend Bishop Patrick Dunn, Your Excellency, and your wife and family, religious leaders and representatives, the Missionaries of Charity, the sisters founded by Mother Teresa, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you on behalf of Monsignor Ray Green, our Pastor Emeritus here, and the parish family of Christ the King o Wairaka, to celebrate this time of interfaith dialogue on the life of Mother Teresa of Calcutta. So It's a great pleasure to welcome you all here this afternoon for a time of sharing, a time of remembering. So on our behalf, no mai, haere mai, ki tēnei wharekrakia, welcome to the sacred place for this time of sacred sharing, in dialogue, in love and in peace, remembering Mother Teresa of Calcutta. Now I'd like to invite students of Masterton College to come forward and to tautoko, to give support to our welcome with a beautiful hymn, the prayer of St. Francis, which was a prayer very dear to Mother Teresa.
Make me your instrument of peace, my God. Make me your instrument of peace. Mold me and make me, open me and take me. Make me your instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow your love. Where there is injury, you may forgive. Where there is conflict, you give unity. Where there is doubt, faith may grow. Make me your instrument of peace, my God. Make me your instrument of peace. Mold me and make me, open me and take me. Make me your instrument of peace. Where there's despair, let me show your hope. Where there is darkness, let me shine your light. Where there is sadness, let me bring your joy. Where there is fear, grant your peace. Make me your instrument of peace, my God. Make me your instrument of peace. Mold me and make me, open me and take me. Make me your instrument of peace. May I seek to comfort and to understand. May I love all people rather than be loved. Forgiving is the best way to receive. And dying is the way to eternal life. Make me your instrument of peace, my God. Make me your instrument of peace. Mold me and make me, open me and take me. Make me your instrument of peace.
His Excellency Admiral Suresh Mehta, Mrs. Mehta, Daughter Sangeeta, Most Reverend Bishop Patrick Dunn, Bishop of Auckland, members of the Parliament, Dr. Rajan Prasad, Jackie Blue, David Shear, members of the Diplomatic Corps, leaders of communities, leaders of faith communities, leaders of political parties, and my distinguished and respected colleagues in the committee and distinguished friends. Today is a day that we are here under one banner, under one party, Mother Teresa's party, under one manifesto, under one policy, peace and love. Friends, and that this party is the party that is going to break all barriers. For there is no war, there is no enmity. That's what Mother Teresa stood and preached for. There is a saying that says, across the gateway to my heart I rode no thoroughfare, but love comes laughing in and cried and goes everywhere. And that's the love that we are going to do. We are going to break all walls, all barriers of hatred, enmity. But that love can only spread, friends, with peace. And that peace can come first to the community, to the home, only if we have peace within ourselves. And that's what Mother Teresa did. She spent a lot of time in prayer. I'm sure today she's very happy because it is in the chapel, as in the church, that she spent time praying. And to see all brothers and sisters of different faith coming to the place that she most revered and spending time, what a great joy for her. So let's get that peace first in ourselves, in our homes, in our community, and radiate that love. Friends, last year, 3 of us met and were discussing over lunch. And many of you know that many business decisions are made over lunch and in the golf course rather than the boardroom. We come to the boardroom to get it ratified. Friends, we discussed how do we reach out to the wider community. And we said there's only one person who can bring all this together, and that is Mother Teresa of Calcutta. And that's how we said, this is a centenary year, the United States of America, many countries are celebrating, why not New Zealand? That seed that was planted drew such a great response that we said, the committee met and said, we will make this as an annual feature, an annual lecture, a legacy that we can leave behind for generations to come to promote that peace and to promote that love. And therefore, the committee decided that this will be an annual feature, and the cause that we would like to support is none other than the congregation of Mother Teresa, the sisters here. While they do the spiritual work, they carry on the work of Mother Teresa of reaching out to many homes where they need of peace and love and the touch of love that is required. So friends, with these few words, I recall what Shakespeare said, some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. And friends, the greatness has been thrust upon each one of us today to carry out that peace and that love which Mother Teresa of Calcutta stood for. Thank you and welcome, and God bless.
In just a moment, we will call upon His Excellency Admiral Suresh Mehta, the Indian High Commissioner, to address us. But first, I'd like to say a word about him and how delighted we are that he's come to join us today, as he did last year. Before he came to New Zealand, His Excellency had a most distinguished military background which spanned over 40 years. He became Chief of the Naval Staff in India in 2006 and became Chief of the Defence Staff in 2008. He is a qualified fighter pilot and served the Naval Air Arm in numerous appointments in the Frontier Fighter Squadron of the Indian Navy. Shortly after relinquishing the command of the Indian Navy and the post of Chairman of the Chiefs of Staff Committee, Admiral Suresh Mehta was appointed Indian High Commissioner to New Zealand in 2009. And now it gives me very great pleasure to ask him to address us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear. Good afternoon, everyone. Bishop Patrick Dunn, Monsignor Ray Green, Father Peter Lipari, members of Parliament, diplomatic corps, and all the lovely people sitting over here today. Let me say how delighted I am to be amongst you today to attend this interfaith gathering devoted to Mother Teresa, a living saint of our times who devoted her entire life to the service of humanity. On this special occasion of the celebration of her centennial year, my compliments go to the dedicated organizers for gathering us all here today, for taking up a theme of such great significance in today's world, love and peace. There can be no doubt that Mother Teresa has been one of the most important peace heroes of the 20th century. Many have focused on bringing peace by political means, both violent and non-violent. And as you just heard, I was on one side of that line some time back, and today I am trying to speak to you from the other side. While these means may bring temporary relief, they only treat the symptoms of violence. Mother Teresa addressed the root of all violence, which is the human heart. She believed in active peacemaking and taught that works of love are works of peace. A part came from three things: a radical understanding of peace, unwavering devotion to victims of all types of violence, and the beautiful example of her own life. As we all know, the human race is artificially divided by many man-made distinctions, such as race, ethnicity, color, language, nationality, ideology, and then the most emotive of them all, religion. Sadly, more people have been killed in religious conflicts and battles than in wars. So there is great need to bridge this social, religious, and civilizational gaps amongst human beings so that they can come closer to each other and understand the other creeds and religions. Throughout the history of mankind, religion has played an important role in politics, in international relations, and it has been used, or shall I say misused, to achieve political and imperial ambitions by many rulers. Religion is expected to teach ethics, good character, virtues and values, and ought to unite people. However, in practice, the lack of understanding of the purpose of religion and the misinterpretations by followers of the teachings of the prophets and the founders results in divisions which can then lead to tragic consequences. In this increasingly interdependent and globalized world, migration has led to more interaction and also friction between different cultures and faiths, fueling such theories as Samuel Huntington's clash of civilizations. It has become easier to erroneously identify and categorize people's intentions, political affiliations, and the like based on their religious identity. As a result, people are now focusing more on what differentiates, for example, Muslims from Christians and Jews, Shiites from Sunnis, Protestants from Catholics, Sikhs from Hindus, Sikhs from Hindus, whilst overlooking the common values that unite them. However, we must admit that despite the differences in worship and theology, all religions share a common teaching, and that is peace. I do believe that international faith gatherings such as this serve a key role in highlighting the role religions can play in global affairs by promoting shared values as a means to achieve peace. India, the largest democracy in the world, with a civilization more than 5,000 years old, is proud of its multiple cultural origins. The cultural origins of the Indian subcontinent can be traced back to the Indus Valley civilization, the remains of which are cherished till today. And besides, India is the place which has given birth to 4 different religions: Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism. And yet, all this while, India has continued to remain a land of diverse cultures, religions, and communities, while through the centuries, people of all cultures and religions, speaking different languages, have lived together in perfect harmony and peace. Undoubtedly, there is a great diversity in our traditions, manners, habits, tastes, customs, and so on, depending upon which region of the country one comes from. Though we speak different languages, unity in diversity has been the distinctive feature of our culture. To live peacefully has been our motto, and this is the motto which helped us to achieve independence. As history tells us, there was active participation from people of different castes and religions. People from different backgrounds and cultures participated in India's struggle for freedom. The national leaders, in particular Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, Maulana Azad and Subhash Chandra Bose, had coined the slogan, "Unity in Diversity." There are numerous others who were also involved, and be they Hindu, Muslim, Buddhist, Jain or Sikh, they all worked shoulder to shoulder with their single identity, Indian. Interreligious tensions have quite often in the past led to crusades and invasions, and it can get exacerbated quite easily in today's close and interconnected world. We must obviously resolve these issues, and I think India provides a good example where we have had a number of religions over the past thousands of years. While some of them were imported from outside, many others have been homegrown in India itself. Despite this, the fact is that these religions have been able to coexist with each other, and the principle of ahimsa has generally flourished in the country. Even today, this principle has a strong bearing on every religion. This is very precious, and India takes pride in it. If we were able to forge a harmonious relationship among societies and religious beliefs in today's multi-ethnic, multi-religious and multicultural world, then it will surely set a very good example for others. In a multi-ethnic society, big problems can arise between the majority and the minority. Perhaps the majority must look at the minority as their invited guests. And the minority, on the other hand, should be able to synthesize with the majority and thereby enable both sides to live in harmony. In order to sustain this harmony, both sides must give due credence to the sensitive issues between themselves. Indeed, the majority should pay attention to and appreciate the views and opinions of the minority through open dialogue. And at the same time, the minority should be conscious of the issues sensitive to the majority, promote harmonious living, and coexist with suspicion. Many of the problems that civilized society faces today in different parts of the world arise from want of political, economic, or social justice. Prolonged delays in finding amicable and just settlement of outstanding disputes, or acceptance in the real sense of the rights to sovereign equity and equality of all nations, irrespective of their size, economic strength, or population. Further, the lack of uniform implementation of international law and other human rights instruments, leading to recurring sense of injustice, also leads to alienation and isolation in different social and religious segments of humanity. As such, many parts of the world are badly gripped by unabated acts of violence, militancy and terrorism. And the most unfortunate part of this violence is that all acts of omission and commission are being acted upon in the garb of religion and the dictates of the self-proclaimed saviors of faith. Innocent lives of men, women and children have been targeted, and the gulf between different sections of world societies is constantly on the increase. In these circumstances, it must be understood that to attain ultimate peace in the world, the self-created yawning gulf between Muslims, Christians, Jews, Buddhists, Hindus, and other faiths must be bridged, and this can only be done through dialogue. In the words of Mother Teresa, I have never found a problem with people from different religions praying together. What I have found is that people are just hungry for God. And be they Christian or Muslim, we invite them to pray with us. Mother Teresa has left behind an extraordinary legacy. Her more than 4,000 priests and brothers and at least 100,000 co-workers continue to show love in action throughout the world. They continue to follow the way that Mother Teresa described on her business card, which is the simple path. The fruit of silence is prayer. The fruit of prayer is faith. The fruit of faith is love. The fruit of love is service. And the fruit of service is peace. So in the end, let us all pray to the Lord of the universe to give us wisdom and competence to follow the path of peace and progress of all peoples. Thank you.
Namaste, respected invitees, brothers and sisters. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak on tolerance. Hinduism incorporates all forms of belief and worship without necessitating the selection or elimination of any. A Hindu is inclined to revere the divine in every manifestation, whatever it may be, and is doctrinally tolerant. A Hindu may embrace a non-Hindu religion without ceasing to be a Hindu. He tends to believe that the highest divine powers complement each other for the well-being of the world and the mankind. A Hindu also understands the concept of harmonious global society that should unite, prosper, and live in peace. Vasudeva Kutumbakam are not mere empty words spoken by rishis a long time ago, simply meaning world is one big family. The mother of freedom was born with the Rig Veda. Rig Veda is the most sacred scriptures of the Hindus. Freedom of the mind created the wondrous world of the intellect. The world of Hindus, rishis, philosophers, poets, and dramatists. India has had an unrivaled tradition of religious freedom and tolerance. That tradition was born of the consciousness that truth can never be the monopoly of any one sect or creed. Mother Teresa throughout her life to save the society, and that to in a foreign country like India is a true example of tolerance. To finish off, I would like to just give a very simple example of tolerance. Fights erupted soon after India's independence among Muslims and Hindus. A Hindu father's son was killed by a Muslim man. And in retaliation and revenge, this Hindu man went and killed the parents of a Muslim boy. He then came to Mahatma Gandhi ji and told Gandhiji of this. Following the scriptures and teachings of Hindu Muslims, Mahatma Gandhi told the Hindu father to bring the young Muslim boy to his home, bring him up as his own son, but under one condition: bring him up as a Muslim. This is tolerance as per Hindu belief. Thank you very much.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Begin in the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. His Excellency Admiral Suresh Mehta, the High Commissioner of India, Bishop Patrick Dunn, Members of Parliament, my fellow colleagues of interfaith community, and distinguished guests, it is an honor to speak this afternoon, particularly in reference to the tremendous work, the humanitarian work which has been done by Mother Teresa. I was asked to speak a few words about harmony, and I'm going to stick to that theme. harmony in Islam is defined in two ways. And I think that is defined in most of the religions in two ways. And that is the harmony within yourselves. When you have harmony within yourselves, then you can create the environment which is peaceful and respectful. The other is the external harmony. Within yourself, when Islam talks about, it talks about your belief, your family. Those are the two components which you have to look after. It's very personal, but making sure that you ensure that the obligations and responsibility towards your family, you are meeting that to the extent which you are expected to. Once you do so, you will have a happy environment, an environment with which you will be feeling comfortable and confident, and would be able to then move beyond and contribute to the external harmony, which relates to your next door neighbors. It starts from there, then to the community, then the country. That's the sphere in which you have to treat the harmony. Not only the harmony with the people, but harmony with the environment, with the surroundings, with the resources which you have been given to. Do not be wasteful in using what God has provided you. So within two minutes to summarize that the internal harmony provides the fuel for the external harmony. And with the combination of those two, we can develop a peaceful word, a harmonious word, a word which is together, and then we can use our energy for positive things. Relating to the work which has been done by Mother Teresa, I remember the lines which said that not how much you do, but it matters how you do it, to especially whom you are helping, whom you are supporting, whom you are trying to create a better life for. So with those words, I think if we do, not only in our own surroundings, internationally, we can create a harmony and more respectful world around us, and we will be better for it. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Namaste, Sastrikal, Kemcho, Kyora. Our chief guest of this afternoon, His Excellency, Indian High Commissioner to New Zealand, Bishop Peter Dunn, honorable members of the Parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and media. I start with a short story. I just heard Mr. Abdul saying, it doesn't matter how much you do, but how better you do. A volunteer was just doing his volunteering job, and somebody asked him, hey, what are you doing? You're not doing up to your own standard and capacity. And he retorted, hey, I'm doing, that's it, because I'm volunteering. That's not the kind of voluntary work Mother Teresa was looking for, isn't it? The topic was given to me today was for service. In Hindi or in Punjabi we call it seva. This word is derived from Sanskrit, meaning to serve, to worship, and is usually translated as service or serving, which commonly relates to work for which one is paid. This, however, does not convey the sense in which the term is used in our Sikh tradition. The word seva has, in fact, two distinct connotations. Firstly, it means to serve, to attend to render obedience to. And secondly, it means to worship, to adore, to revere, or to pay homage to. Sikhism is founded on the principle of Sarbat da Pala, meaning working towards the common of all the humanity. Common good of all the humanity. For Sikhs, this means reaching out to serve and uplift all of the humanity as an expression of devotion to the Creator. Many Sikh institutes such as Guru Ka Langar, which is common free kitchen, Kirtan, that is singing hymns in his praise, Path, read from the holy book Shri Guru Granth Sahib, etc., depend upon the performance of seva by many in the congregation. So the principles of seva underpin many Sikh values, such as the importance given to seva in Sikhism. All Sikhs are encouraged by their Guru to perform seva or the selfless service, that is Nishkam Seva. This is not only good for community relations, but is also good for the moral uplifting of the people. You will find Sikhs engaged in free service in Gurudwaras, washing dishes, cleaning the floors, cooking and serving the food, etc., etc. Sikhs are also encouraged to help the community by performing unpaid work in hospitals, old people's homes, community centers, and the volunteers engaged in such kind of seva are referred to as sevadars. This point is highlighted by the Guru in many places in Guru Granth Sahib Ji. The text explains the spiritual benefits of doing seva and the ways in which one should perform it, focusing on the state of mind when he is performing the seva. The importance of selfless seva is highlighted by the Guruji in this verse of Guru Granth Sahib. Seva kart hoy nehe kami, tiska hot prapat swami. One who performs selfless service without thought of reward shall attain his Lord or the Master. Guru tells the followers that peace can be obtained through seva. Sukh hove sev kamaniya. You shall find peace doing seva. Doing seva brings its own tranquility and serenity, which you cannot find in doing anything else. Three things are necessary to obtain salvation and liberty, and they are to perform seva, to follow Guru Bani, and to do the Simran. Kar seva paj har har gurmat. Do seva, follow the Guru's teachings, and vibrate on the Lord's name har har har, that is the Lord. Finally, in the following verse, the Guru informs the devotee that performing seva in correct fashion will bring you honor in the Lord's court. Thus, which duniya sev kamaiye, ta dargah baisan paiye. In the midst of this world, do seva, and you shall be given a place of honor in the court of the Lord. In fact, in Sikhism, no worship is conceivable without seva. The Sikh is forbidden from serving anyone apart from God. Serve you the Lord alone, none else must you serve. However, this also means that whomsoever we serve, we are really serving our Lord through him or her. Therefore, it becomes incumbent upon the Sikh to render seva with the highest sense of duty, since thereby he or she is worshipping the Lord. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.
So thanks for giving good opportunity for me. Peace is a word commonly in use by all religions, and each religion teaches us how to be happy and peaceful in one's life. We human beings are all motivated by a desire to make ourselves happy and peaceful. To do so is right. However, we must keep in mind that peace and happiness are impossible in the presence of anger and hatred. Too much involvement in only external materialism will also destroy our peace of mind. From the Buddhist point of view, I think that genuine peace and happiness can be achieved on the basis of love and compassion. Love and compassion are internal qualities, and they can be cultivated by anyone, anywhere in the world. But they are inner quality and basic human value. One doesn't even need to follow a religion to generate those true human value. Where there's unconditional love and compassion, there will be peace and happiness. And in the long run, those two inner qualities are the source of world peace, and so we should always keep this in mind at all times and try to develop than for the peace and happiness of both self and others. Thank you.
E ki kāne te tuatahi e pā, te mihi ki te whare e tūnei, te papa e takoto mai nei i waho, ki te matua nui e te rangi nāna nei te tīmatatanga me te whakamutu mō ngā mea katoa, e klori e ki te atu i rungarawa, e mau ngā rongo ki te whenua, e whakaro pai ki te tangata. Ka mihi kia pai, ka mihi kia tō tātou pihopa, tēnā koe. Ki te rangatira e haere mai nei i tā wāhi, e manuhiri tūārani, High Commissioner, Your Excellency, tēnā koe. Ka mihi hoki kia koutou katoa, e ngā reo, e ngā mana, e ngā waka. Ka huri ki te rao ngā reo. I want to pay first respect to God, the Creator of all, to this beautiful church that we are in today, distinguished guests, Bishop Dunn, Your Excellency, High Commissioner of India, and your family, to the many faith community leaders, to my colleagues on the Mother Teresa Committee. I want to say thank you for this opportunity that you have asked for me to speak on behalf of the Maori community. I don't know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it. I have looked at the life of Mother Teresa from many, many angles, and recently gave a kōrero, or a speech, at the Interfaith Conference with the Muslim Islamic community on peace, loyalty and tolerance. And I acknowledge all the previous speakers who spoke on this aspect. So I wrote notes on that, and I have to put them aside because you've covered them. But I want to say just briefly a word, it's a principle in Maori life, and this word is called aroha. But it's only one aroha, a four-letter word. And yet it has such a big meaning. If I ever looked at life of service to people, the one word covers that, and that is aroha. The principles of aroha are quite distinctive. It is encased in tapu, the respect of the things you do and who they will affect and who you are doing it with. The respect of people, keeping peace is respecting people's dignity, respecting their tapu. Encased in that manaakitanga and aroha are tapu. Is tapu, the word tapu, but surrounding that we have the guiding principles of tapu being tika, pono and aroha. I've mentioned aroha. But aroha cannot be effective if it's done with the wrong purpose. Tika and pono, really meaning tika is about being just, pono is about being honest, and then aroha will work. Aroha really meaning love, care and compassion. For if my actions are for my material gain, and I call it aroha, it does not work. If my actions are to deny another person of their existence, including their colour of skin or their rightful place in our world, and I am discriminatory in my words and in my actions, I am not practicing aroha. I pray to Mother Teresa that aroha be permeated throughout New Zealand society. And then today I greet the members of Parliament that in a few weeks' time they will be facing the elections of our country. I see this as an action time for us to look at principles of tika, pono and aroha to lead our country, to give us good guidance as members of Parliament, as leaders of our community. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, kia ora mai anō rā tātou katoa.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm thankful for the opportunity given to me to speak on mutual understanding according to the Zoroastrian faith. As in all the religions, Zoroastrianism also considers man to be God's highest creation. He wants man to be his agent, and so has endowed him alone with the wohu mana, or the good mind. It is this mind which helps man to think, understand himself, know God, and be a trustee of God's creation. To help man achieve this, Zoroastrianism bases its philosophy on the three pillars of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. By good thoughts, we mean thoughts that will bring about goodness, happiness, and well-being among mankind. Hence, there will be no room for intolerance or entertaining any kind of hatred or causing pain to another being. Such good thoughts need to be reflected in speech or words that would promote understanding and harmony and remove doubt or suspicion of others. Truth, or asha, is the core of Zoroastrianism. Our words should not reflect any kind of falsehood or deceit. But the most important thing to remember is to translate these good thoughts and good words into good actions. For only then do good thoughts and good words have real significance. By good actions, we mean observance of respect and tolerance for others, and the principle of live and let live. There has to be complete alignment between what we think, speak, and do. Only then will genuine love for our fellow beings ensue. Hence, the message to take home from Zoroastrianism today is to develop the habit of introspection in all that we think, speak, and do. We need to ensure that what we think, speak, and do are in complete harmony. Once we begin to do this, mutual misunderstandings will begin to disappear, ushering in trust, better understanding, and unity among our fellow men. Thank you.
Shalom. It is a great honor and it is a great privilege to be able to speak for Mother Teresa today and on this occasion. And I thank especially for Patricia for inviting me. One of the greatest messages that Mother Teresa has given us is the message of love. And I wanted to put it in the words of our great philosopher Ecclesiastes, and if I may read from him. If I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I'm only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, And if I have a faith that can move mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and surrender my body to the flames, but have not love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices within the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. Mother Teresa, or Agnes as was her birth name, was a symbol of love, and as her name says, a flower of love. She was the embodiment of God's love in this world. And in her own words, her mission was to care for the hungry, the naked, the homeless, and all those who were unloved. In all the world's religions, including the Jewish faith, God, or as we call him, Hashem, is the spirit of love. And Mother Teresa teaches us that love and compassion, not war and hate, are the birthright of mankind and the path to paradise. I want to leave with her words. Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. Thank you.
Father Peter Tippany gave us a welcome. He used a lovely Maori expression. He spoke, he said, Tēnā koutou e raurangatira mā, to the 100 chiefs who've gathered, I pass greetings. So I too pass my greetings to you all as we gather this afternoon. I was thinking Mother Teresa would be so delighted that we have this interfaith gathering here in her memory, because she truly loved all. And the Mayor of Auckland, Liam Brown, makes the point, which I find quite fascinating, that Auckland is one of the 10 most ethnically diverse cities in the world now. Interesting, isn't it? So we have all these different cultures, and how important it is that we can meet together and appreciate one another. I just wanted to highlight 4 characteristics of Mother Teresa's message which speak loudly to me. Firstly is her service of the poor, which we've mentioned. She said to her sisters that the poor are God's most precious gift to our society. Isn't that a strange thing to say? It's sort of so countercultural. What's so valuable about the poor? And yet, in some ways, that was a message of hope, because there's a sense in which we're all poor. And when Mother Teresa came to New Zealand, she said something that was jolted people. She said, when she came to New Zealand, and also when she's been to other developed countries, but she said, never in India have I seen such poverty as I see here. And she was talking about the poverty of loneliness, or that sort of a human poverty, just maybe lack of health, lack of friends, lack of success, a sense of failure. And yet her message was that we're still precious in the eyes of God, that we shouldn't put ourselves down, that Mother Teresa, so that lovely phrase, the poor are God's most precious gift. And we're all part of it. The second characteristic from Mother Teresa's life that I find deeply moving was her huge generosity. That when she was 18 years old, she left home, and the generosity of her mother too. Her mother said, as she was leaving, she said, she kissed her and bade her farewell, and she said, put your hand in the hands of God and walk alone with him. She said, walk ahead, keep walking, keep moving ahead. Don't look back or you'll start walking backwards. And so, what generosity, how many parents would say that to an 18-year-old? put your hand in God's hand, keep walking ahead and don't look back because you'll start moving backwards. And Mother Teresa had that huge sense of generosity. When she was 22, she made a private vow that she would refuse God nothing. Nothing at all. Enormous generosity. Third characteristic, which I find very attractive, is her sense of joy. That she used to say that you couldn't be one of her followers unless you have a cheerful disposition, because she said there's enough sadness around. She said you've got to have she said joy is a net of love by which we can save many souls, just to bring joy to people's lives. The fourth and final characteristic I just want to mention is her enormous faith. She was so countercultural. She said she wanted to refuse God nothing. And she said to her followers, she said that a saint is a resolute soul, that to live for God, it's a tough choice. It's a tough call. And more in recent years, we're learning more about her own journey of faith, that she said, the path to holiness begins with a firm decision. So for all of us who live by faith, Mother Teresa would say, good on you, hang in there. But she also acknowledged it's difficult, it's challenging. Just to conclude, in my office I have some little sayings of Mother Teresa that were very precious to my mother. Mum loves them, and I have them in my office, and I find I'm looking at them quite often. You've probably seen it. It's that little reflection piece that goes, it doesn't matter, and I'll just read 3 of the lines. The person is unreasonable, illogical, and egocentric. It doesn't matter. Love him. Love her. The good you do today is forgotten tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Do the good. If you help people, they resent it. It doesn't matter. Help them. As one of our previous speakers said, for me, one of Mother Teresa's great legacy is that we can't do everything, but each of us can do something. She was often taunted about that, wasn't she? She said, helping the poor in India, and people would say, well, how's that going to, how can you help all the poor people in India? It's an impossible task. And Mother Teresa's frequent reply was, I can't help all the people, all the poor, everywhere in the world, but I can help this person here, now. The world can be changed through individual, random acts of kindness, which each of us can do.
We would like to take this opportunity to honour His Excellency and family, and I call upon Wenceslaus, who is going to do the honours.
As Lindsay has said earlier, His Excellency was not only the Chief of the Navy, but also he was the Chief of the entire Defence Force. It's a very powerful position. Very few people can reach that level. And the other day when they were introducing, they said he was having 2 million people. He was the Chief of 2 million people. Such a powerful man, such a distinguished person, but with humility, he is here today in the name of Blessed Mother Teresa of Calcutta, promoting peace and love. When he came in 2009, his appeal was, I want to see all the Indian communities being united and being one. Your Excellency, now that you're going back next month with the term over, you have finished that task par excellence. Not only have you united the Indian community, you have united New Zealand, all faith and all community together in the name of Blessed Mother Teresa of Calcutta. You came here as an Indian High Commissioner to New Zealand. You are going back as an ambassador of New Zealand. May we stand and give him a standing ovation for this great person. request Kelly Coleman, the gentleman of the diocese, and also the member of the Mother Teresa Committee, to kindly come forward. Your Excellency, to kindly accept. This is a very special book given by the Mother Teresa Sisters, signed by Most Reverend Bishop Patrick Dunn, as a remembrance of what you have done for us. Thank you. Sister Vinci also would like to give on behalf of the congregation. Now I'd like to call upon Mrs. Mother Teresa, carrying the name of Mother Teresa herself, to kindly come and accept a small. This is something that very dear to Mother Teresa, the rosary bead. You'll never see Mother Teresa without the rosary bead. So on behalf of the congregation. His Excellency's children also have the names of S. His son Samir is in Singapore, but his daughter Sangeeta is here. May we request Sangeeta to kindly come forward, and I request Patricia, who is the Honorary Consul General of Malta and member of the Mother Teresa Central Committee, to kindly give her a gift, again donated by Sister Vinci and the congregation. All that you have done. I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of Lady Hilary here. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm actually standing in for Mr. Warwick Wright, who at the last moment was not able to attend today. And there are always people and organisations that support such events. And on behalf of us all, and particularly the committee today, I just want to thank the following. Thanks are due to the ASB Bank, to Kamamazu, to Media and Radio Tirana for the outreach, to Reverend Father Peter Tiffany and the Christ the King Parish, to Bishop Pat and the Diocesan Administration, to all the speakers from the various religious communities for their wonderful contributions and wisdom this afternoon, to the committee members, and to the good Lord for bringing us all together. Also importantly, we wish to thank the singers who opened today's event. And finally, and most importantly, we wish to acknowledge the good work of Mr. Wenceslaus Anthony. Wenceslaus is the chair of the Interfaith Committee, and all these events and committees require leadership and drive to achieve. And Wenceslaus, you have done that for us, so on behalf of us all here, and particularly the committee, we're indebted to you. Thank you.
Oh
Somebody asked me, what will you do when there'll be no more poor in the world? And I said, we'll be unemployed.